All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast episode. Today, we're going to be recapping a bunch of stuff. There are new paddle testing measurements being put in place. We're going to recap the PPA because there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened there. And we're also going to talk about Nationals moving to Texas and not going to be at Indian Wells this year. But before we get into that, Will, you know what we have to talk about first? What? I didn't want to have to resort to this, especially because it's kind of petty, but we had a perfect 5-star streak on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and this morning I checked, and one person gave us a 2-star review, and they did not even say who they were. They didn't leave a review. All they did was give it 2 stars, so I have no idea who left it.
Dude,
but,
I have a theory.
Oh yeah? What's your theory?
It's Zink and Thomas from the Pickle Pod.
I mean, I wasn't gonna name them on here because we don't name the competition on this podcast. But yes, the cat's out of the bag. It was almost certainly them. You can see, if you guys have watched any of their podcast episodes, you can see the jealousy brewing. They tried to get a studio set up to copy us. Zane was on our podcast, and then he goes straight to the competitor and is now a host on that podcast. I'm pretty sure he came on this podcast just to learn how we did things, so he could take it over to Thomas. I hope Thomas paid him well. I paid him well.
But we know it was at all.
We know it was you guys who left the 2-star review. So if you want to start beef, here come the fists. You're gonna get the fists.
Chris, wait, have you ever gotten into a physical fist fight ever in your life?
No, I don't know if you watched the Pickle Pod episode with Zane, but I'm very much like Zane, where I like to run to a safe distance and then yell bad things at you and then run a little bit more so you can't catch me. I am definitely not a fighter. I am a runner. But anyways, we've got a review or comment we're going to read. I mentioned this in another podcast episode, guys, but if you want to leave listener questions on the podcast, things for us to answer at the beginning of a pod, or we're just going to read comments that we thought were funny. And we have one today that we thought was funny that Will is going to read for you.
Yes, it is it just from Z? That's just their name? There was nothing more?
Yeah, it was just Z.
Okay, from Z. This is from the Mary episode. Mary could tell me everything was going to be okay, and I'd actually believe her.
Dude, I thought it was so funny when I read that. Literally all of the comments on this podcast are just about her voice. Everyone was obsessed with her voice. I did not see that coming, but I just thought it was super funny.
It is very soothing. I will say.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. So, yes, if you guys have funny comments, feel free to leave them on the podcast episode. We are going to try and read those. And if you just have a question, feel free to leave it on the podcast, and we may read it in the next one. So, yeah. All right, Will.
Yes.
One of the first things I want to talk about from this PPA. This was actually a pretty fun PPA to watch all around, but I got the biggest piece of justice served to me in my career ever.
What are you talking about?
Okay. When I made my very first video on YouTube for Pickleball, in the first maybe minute, I talked about how bad the Adidas paddles were. They had just come out. I had just gotten to try them. I had ran some spin tests on them. The spin on them was very poor. They just felt kind of cheap. The paddles, they're just not good. And I think when it launched, it was 180 or 190.
No, it was 200. Wasn't it 200?
I don't think it's ever been 200. Maybe it is right now, but at the time of launch, it wasn't. So I made this video, and then Adidas just got very upset with me. They were like, your testing is completely flawed. You don't know what you're talking about. Our paddles are great. It was a 30-minute phone call where I just got blasted.
Yes. I remember this. They reached out to you, they emailed you, and they said, hey, can we hop on a call? And I remember you telling me, oh, sweet, they're going to take my input, my advice. And then,
I thought they wanted to improve the paddle, which was perhaps naive of me to think, but that's just where I thought the conversation was going to go. And then for basically,
so you're
30
blindsided.
minutes,
you're just completely blindsided. How did that conversation just start? You're like, oh, hey, Chris, how you're doing? Or it was just picked up and you're like, dude, your paddle review's trash.
I mean, it felt like a mix of both. It's been so long now that I don't remember all the details of the phone call. I just remember being caught off guard and being like, whoa, I was not expecting this guy to be so aggressive about this, which maybe was fair. My words in that video were a tad aggressive. I probably still believe what I said, but I probably could have picked slightly nicer words that conveyed the same message.
Nah.
But the reason I bring all of this up is because Rafa Hewitt is now sponsored by Adidas, and he has been for just a little bit. At the last MLP, he was wearing Adidas gear and whatnot, and he would hold the paddle during interviews, but he was playing with a Yola. Well,
I thought that was so funny. I was like, he's just holding it? Like, everybody knows that he's playing with something else. I just... So
thought that was
Adidas
hilarious.
cracked down this tournament. They're like, you have to play with it this tournament.
Yes, he played with it, and he had to play Zane. He got... let's just read the scorelines. It was 2 games. Zane beats him 11-1, 11-2. Okay, he gets dunked. And honestly, if I had to guess, in singles, I don't know if I've seen them play before. I'm sure they have. But I'd imagine that it would be a very even game, or maybe even Rafa is favored in that matchup. I don't really know who's favored, but Rafa's a great singles player. Certainly not an 11-1, 11-2 kind of guy against Zane. Did you watch any of those points?
I saw some of the highlights, and he got he got destroyed. And when I saw some of the highlights, I was like, oh man, I play better than Rafa. I got more points on Zane than Rafa did like the past weekend, because I went to Austin, I guess a couple weekends ago, to help Zane film some stuff, and we got to play a few points. We played one singles game, and I got 9 points off of Zane. And I was like, dang, Rafa.
But I mean, did you see some of the? He would drive the ball from the baseline, and it would go into the bottom of the net. That paddle does not grab the ball at all. I think when I tested it, it was like 1,000 RPM flat, or maybe even less than 1,000 RPM. I can't remember, but regardless, it's one of the lowest paddles I have ever tested. And after watching this match, all I could think was, I was right. This paddle's a piece of garbage. Like, you just put... Rafa has been a great player with a Yola or anything that gets spin. In fact, on Instagram, I think I said, Rafa's a great player when you give him a paddle that has more spin than a piece of paper, which is basically what the Adidas is. And then he just gets mopped. So I just like... When people tell me for the pros or whoever, like, oh, paddle doesn't matter, I'm like, dude... Look, Rafa is the living example of the paddle matters at the pro level. You can't give him literally anything and expect him to perform at the highest level.
That's true. I saw some of his face. He was just looking at Zane, and he was rubbing like the face of his paddle, you know? And I don't know how Zane was responding to that or whatnot.
I think he just shrugged his shoulders.
Okay, you know what's funny? This reminds me of the episode with Zane, the podcast episode with Zane, and we're talking about, do paddles matter? Do pros pick a paddle for the performance, or is it a money thing? And didn't Zane say something along the lines, well, if you're at the tail end of your career, you're gonna take the biggest paycheck. And now it's just funny that it had to be Rafa and that they played, and that's all I can think about right now.
No, that was funny. What Zane basically said, for those who didn't hear that episode, was, well, if you're early in your career, you may want to prioritize the paddle because you want to get good results. But if you're at the end of your career where you know you're phasing out, you want to lock in the longest deal possible, and you're not going to care as much about the paddle because now you're just focused on money. So that now in this context, it would be just saying that Rafa's at the end and trying to secure a bag of money.
Is that true though? I don't know.
I mean, Rafa's definitely not at the end of his career. I'm sure, just like everyone else, lots of them are trying to focus on money. And just so everyone knows, we all love Rafa. I think he's a great guy. I've had several phone calls with him. We've hung out with him at a couple tournaments. Like, Rafa's an amazing guy. No shade at Rafa. I think it's absolutely hilarious that it just had to be him with an Adidas paddle to prove this point about these paddles.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that it happened against Zane, though, just because, I don't know.
Oh, it's definitely funniest against Zane, for sure.
Yeah, because they play with each other, at MLP, and Zane's just a funny guy, and I don't know. I'm sure they had a little fun with it. I wonder what that conversation was like after the match. Didn't Rafa challenge Zane's paddle?
Yes.
What happened with that? He
challenged Zane's paddle at the end. Zane's paddle passed, and this was perhaps my favorite part of everything, because the memes just flooded the internet. First of all, I got to give a huge shout out. If you guys don't know, memes of pickleball. This is the best a internet account in pickleball. It's better than the Dink. It's better than me. It's better than Will. It's better than everyone. There's no one better than Memes of Pickleball. If you're not following them on Instagram right now, pause this episode and go follow them because it's hilarious. Best memes by far.
I thought, we weren't going to promote any other channels or any other brands right now, but dang, you went all in. That's,
bro, when you see good content, you talk about good content, and they have earned the good content award.
No, they definitely have.
Well, here's the thing. If they existed when the Dink Creator Award was happening, I don't think I would have won. I think they would have won.
Oh yeah, no, they're definitely in the running. Just give them the award now.
I should just mail them the $2,000.
The gender bent post that they posted to all the pros and they just gender flopped them. That was hilarious. I caught Zane reacting to that like live when I was in Austin and he was dying. He was just yelling I was like on the other side like of the court, like of the house, and then all I heard Zane was like no, and I was like, what's going on? And it was hilarious. So good. Go check that out if you have it. I posted that video up too if you wanted to check it out, or Zane has it up on his socials as well. So funny.
Yes, definitely. But they had Memes of Pickleball posted several amazing memes. I may even flash them up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. But the first one that they made was they made like a mock-up advertisement for Adidas that said paddle's so bad it'll make you think your opponent is cheating. And then if you didn't see this clip already, Riley was playing mixed doubles, I believe it was, and he went to hit his like pancake forehand. And when he stopped, the paddle snapped in half, and then the head fell in the kitchen. They actually lost the point for that because of
because it's a kitchen violation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then Memes of Pickleball made another fake advertisement, but it was for Gamma this time.
What did it say?
and it was basically, I should have pulled it up on my phone, but essentially it said, our paddle is still better than Adidas, even when ours is in two pieces.
Adidas is getting roasted. I wonder how they feel about it. Not that they probably care all too much, because I feel like the people behind Adidas, at least for pickleball, I feel like they just license out their name to whoever, right? And then they slap the Adidas brand on a paddle or whatever, and then they say it's Adidas. But
what happened was, because I learned all this on my phone call. So Adidas does license it out, and it's another company that has a bunch of racket sport experience, like in padel. I don't know if they have much in tennis. I'll just say padel because that's what I remember for sure. And they've been around for a long time. My honest guess is they probably do care about making a good product, but I think when they came to pickleball, they just didn't know enough about the sport to know what made a good paddle. I hope or imagine that this next round of paddles that probably comes out will be better, or at least I'd like to think that it would be better. They've had plenty of time to learn and grow, and obviously the memes are everywhere now, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure they care. I just think they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just would have thought they'd learned their lesson, because Adidas did get into the tennis racket space like a while back, and I'm pretty sure that failed horribly as well. And
I think it did.
All right. Anyways, well, hopefully they clean up their crap. Yeah.
Yes, I hope they clean it up. But they had one more really good one. And okay, I have never
thought
thought
of another
of
one.
No, this was Pro XR. I have never thought of Pro XR as a very cool company. I think like the handle has never done much for me. Like maybe a unique idea, but I just don't think most people are going to use it. And they haven't really released a super amazing paddle yet. But I'm going to give them some cool points. I'll give credit where credit's due. They made a video right after that Zane challenge. They had like all the footage of the challenge happening. And they made this whole thing. You just got to go watch it. Go to ProXR's page and watch it. But basically the line that I thought was very funny was, our paddle is so good, even the pros can't believe it. It's a hilarious video. You got to go watch it. Whoever made that at Pro XR, you got to give him a raise. Let him run the Instagram account. Let him run wild. Like Zane is you gotta just
best thing.
market Zane like crazy.
Zane and his paddle for Pro XR was probably the best thing to happen then to them, honestly.
For sure. I think Zane's paddle is probably the best paddle they've got right now. And Zane, just as a person, I'm not going to pump Zane up because he's part of the other podcast and his ego is going to get way bigger if I pump him up. So my words are going to stop there about Zane.
Okay, look, last thing about Zane. Zane, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in Austin helping Zane with some videos, right? And he's just like a funny guy. I know you know this too with his banter or whatnot. He kept on calling me boss man, and then eventually his name just became, okay, little minion. Yes, let's go. You stand over here. You do this. I was directing him as that, and then sometimes he would like act like he's like one of the minions, like, you know, from from the show, from the movie. And then when I mic him up and I'm putting the mic in his pocket, he's, oh, Will, you don't want to put that mic in my pocket for me? And I'm like, no, Zane, I don't mix business with pleasure. And he's like, well, you never know until you try. And I'm like, this guy. You just can't say.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like Zane. That sounds like my experience with him. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that was the Adidas paddle. That was just absolutely hilarious to me because after about a year and a half of being in this and then finally seeing that paddle in a high-level pro's hands, sweet justice. That's all I gotta say.
I actually got it in my hand. I mean, I have one now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make some sort of video about it. I'm not sure what, but I'm going to go play with it and see if it's as bad as everybody says or as you say. Do you think?
Hey, Rafa's all I need. If you say you like the paddle, I know you were paid. That's all I got to say. I know you were paid. Okay. All right, moving on. We got to talk about this, guys. This was nearly the craziest upset in pickleball history, and that is Collin Shick. What the Shick happened at the PPA. There were so many good play on words with his name.
Dude, it was everywhere. It got to the point where it was a little annoying. I'm not going to lie. I had to turn off the chat because everybody was...
Okay. The YouTube chat for the PPA is toxic and just bad. Like, I read the comments in there and I'm like, who are you people? Like, what? I don't know. I don't even read the chat because most of the time I think it's useless and people are just there to be a keyboard warrior. Yeah. But Collin Shick. Okay, guys. This dude has never played a pro tournament, to my knowledge. I believe everyone said he's never played a pro tournament, okay? He plays the qualifier for singles, which means you have to wake up, or you have to be there at 7 a.m., which means you probably wake up at 5 because you're warming up at 6 to be ready by 7. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Okay, his first round in the qualifier, he wins 11-3, 11-1. Second game, 11-6, 9-11, 11-3. Third round in the qualifier, 11-2, 11-0. And then looking at the bracket, it didn't show the rest of the qualifier results, so I don't know if he got out of the qualifier after those first three or if they didn't post the results, but I think that's all he had to play based on the total number of games I heard. Okay, next. He gets into the main draw, and he said his only goal was to make it into the main draw at this tournament. Okay, he beats Wyatt Stone. Yeah, mission accomplished. Everything else after that, gravy. He beats Wyatt Stone 11-3, 11-2.
Ooh.
Then he beats Jason Garriott. I don't know how you say his name. 11-6, 11-2. Then he beats Julian Arnold 4-11, 11-3, 11-1. That's a good win.
That's
Julian
a really
Arnold
good win.
is no joke in singles. Like, that's sick. All right, semifinals. He beats Dylan Frazier 11-8, 7-11, 11-6.
Oh, another tough one.
Crazy.
Yes.
Will, he played 17 games of singles in one day.
No.
17 games.
Wait. No, the qualifiers were on a different day than the main draw, right?
I thought it was the same day. I mean, for your PPA, it was a different day, but right. I thought I heard he played all 17 games in one day.
That's insane. If
someone can correct me if I'm wrong, you just let us know. But that's my understanding, was that it was all in one day. Oh my
gosh, if he did that all in one day, I'd be done.
I mean, that's absolutely insane. And then I don't know if you heard. Go ahead.
He wasn't. He wasn't, and also he wasn't playing, relaxed or anything. He was running. The man was going left to right, running suicides, hitting backhands.
Yeah,
I like cross court, like some crazy angles. Like, and the man was sliding. I'd be shot. Like, my legs would be done.
And he's got the craziest drop shots I've seen in pickleball. I have not seen pros consistently hit drop shots like he does.
You mean the drop volleys or just like drop shots
the cuts he hits? Like when someone drives at him from the baseline and he cuts it and it just dies in the kitchen.
Yeah, those are some heavy. He must have been really good at tennis. Those are some really good like tennis cuts at the ball right there, and the angles he was getting at it, like so solid. Really, I was most impressed by his backhand. Like his backhand, like flicks and whips like cross court, like into the kitchen or really shallow. Those were like so good, especially on the run. You know.
Yep.
Actually had some Annalie Waters vibes to them, the way he was like running and hitting those backhands. But yeah,
I could see that. I could see that for sure. So that was just absolutely nuts. And okay, I should have done a little more researching to make sure I heard this, but enough people said it that were reliable that I believe it's true. But I heard he actually had, so he's a medical student as well. He had an exam on Friday or the weekend that he flew back home for, took the exam, and then came back for Championship Sunday.
What? That's insane.
Dude, I know. If that's
beast.
true, that's absolutely insane. I wouldn't even be able to take that exam. If my goal was only to make it out of the qualifier, and then I'm playing Ben Johns on Sunday, I wouldn't even want to take the exam.
Nah, I'd probably take the exam. I don't think... I mean, he'll be playing,
I wouldn't skip it. I'm just saying when you're taking the exam, I wouldn't be able to think about the exam.
Nah, man, just another day's work for Mr. Shick. You know, easy peasy. University of North Carolina. I think he's Chapel Hill. So, I mean, that's a pretty good program as well. So, I mean, he must be a smart cookie.
Yeah, I mean, it must be. But then Sunday, okay, this was crazy. This was setting up to be the world's biggest upset in pickleball. He wins the first game, 11-6. I thought he made Ben look pretty silly. Like, I've never seen... Honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen Ben sweat before. And he managed to get Ben to take a timeout, which Ben never does. So he wins 11-6. And then after that, he loses 3-11, 0-11.
Yeah, he got bagel. He got figured out. Ben figured him out.
Ben definitely figured him out, which I think is, one of Ben's greatest strengths is being able to figure out his opponent. And he clearly showed that he was able to figure him out. I mean, I don't know if Collin ran out of juice. I mean, it was probably him running out of juice as well as Ben obviously figuring him out and then playing well. But dude, it was an amazing match to watch. Regardless of him losing, like Collin was all over the court. They actually had some really good hands battles in singles, which you never see.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Which is kind of insane.
Yeah. Pretty wild. So, unfortunate he did not win that, but I mean, hey, second place at your first pro tournament where you had to fly back home to take an exam.
Yeah, and get through qualifiers. Pretty impressive. Shout out to you.
That's actually nuts.
Good stuff, Mr. Shick. Good stuff. We commend you. Like, we hope to see you more on the tour for sure. Loved the play. Really electrifying. Man, good stuff.
Yep, that was great. I actually saw this other amazing memes of pickleball meme. Got to talk about them again real quick. I think it was this morning or yesterday, but it was this video meme of, it said Selkirk to Collin Shick after the PPA, and it was someone opening their door, and it was someone bowing down at the door just with a cash full of or a cash in their hand trying to hand it to him.
Okay. I think I did see that one. So he's not sponsored by Selkirk, at least.
No, I think he is sponsored. It was just a joke of like, oh, this guy's really good. We got to give him more money. My joke to Sarah was, this guy's not going to be a medical student for much longer with results like these.
Nah, he's gonna say. He said it. There was a little interview with Kyle, and I think they asked him, or Kyle asked him, and said, "So are you gonna quit medical school?" And he said, "Nah."
Oh, crazy. We'll see about that. That's what everyone says, and then they're like, "Wow, I'm actually good at this game and can make probably more money." So we'll see.
Okay.
But all right, we'll just breeze through some other results real quick. Another upset we had this weekend was Catherine upset Annalie Waters in singles.
Yes.
And it was only 2 games, 11-7, 11-9.
Yep. No, Catherine was playing great. And, I mean, she took gold for the whole tournament. She beat Leia in the finals, took gold, and she mopped Leia as well.
11-4, 11-2.
Ooh.
It was
Good
crazy.
Job, CP.
I mean, Catherine's been playing out of her mind. Obviously, she played well in Minnesota. She got mixed gold there, and she got singles gold. I mean, it's probably not entirely the paddle. Obviously, Catherine is an amazing player. But, dude, she came from a paddle tech, and now she's on a power air, which is obviously a good paddle, and now she's just getting great results. I mean, she played out of her mind in singles. She was just, she couldn't miss.
Dude, the gets she was getting, the slides she was getting against Annalie Waters, and even Leia too. Like, she's full outstretched. Like, she's hitting like the tip or the edge of her paddle, and she's like making the balls go in. And then there was like one slide she did. I felt like she slid, and then she like landed on her, ended up on her knee or something, like on a winner. I don't know, something insane. Yeah, no, she played great, and the movement and the court coverage was phenomenal. Like, she could not be stopped. It was kind of crazy, to be quite honest. I thought she was gonna run out of juice. The way she was moving and all the court coverage she was having, I was like, there's no way she's gonna be able to keep up this intensity, like, and this quality for long. But she did it. So shouts to her. She's been trying to get this goal for a while, and to also get it against Annalie Waters and Leia, in the same tournament, like back to back. I mean, got to give shout outs. Got to give props to her for sure. Yeah,
no, that's really good. So nice to see her results doing well. Just reinforces that Paddle Tech really needs to get a better paddle out, because you probably put an insane paddle in Annalie's hand and she's not dropping a game for the rest of the year. I'm just kidding. But I mean, it is crazy to see Catherine's level of performance like jump so much recently. All right. Again, gonna breeze through these real fast for anyone who cares. Men's doubles: Ben and Collin first, Julian, Arnold, and Thomas Wilson second, Dylan and JW third. Women's doubles: Catherine and Annalie win women's. Second place, Lacey Schneeman and Jade Kawamoto, which I did not see coming. They took out Elise Jones and Leah Jansen in doubles. So it seemed like they had a good run. I didn't see their whole bracket, but I mean, hey, getting to the finals for them is big.
Heck yeah.
I think actually that might, I don't know for Jade. For Lacey, I'm pretty sure that was her first championship Sunday. I don't know about Jade. But regardless, sick. Elise and Leah third. Mixed, Annalie Waters. Wait, I totally wrote that wrong. Mixed was Annalie and Ben, then Catherine and Tyson, and then Jesse and Jay. Men's singles, Ben Johns, Collin Shick, Pablo Tejas. And then women's singles, we had Catherine, Leia, and then Salome. So congrats to everyone for the PPA.
Good stuff. Yeah, this was a good tournament. This is actually one of the first tournaments that I've kind of at least had on for a while, like the whole weekend. Typically, I just kind of like watch a few matches that I'm kind of interested in or just check out highlights. But this one I actually put on. When you actually texted me in the morning, I just woke up. He's like, dude, go watch the game right now. Like, I think it was Collin Shick playing, and I was like, oh, okay. And I woke up, I turned it on, and the first thing I saw was him doing like a running, like backhand flick and getting a outright winner. I was like, oh dang, this is crazy. Totally woke me up. Yeah. I
will say for me, Sarah has actually gotten much more into just watching pickleball. Like on the week, she actually has asked me, is there pickleball we can turn on and watch? So that I was like, well, okay. I wasn't expecting that. But so we kind of just left it on, like we went out, got some food, and just like made a bunch of snacks at home and then watched the PPA. She did her own thing, and then I kind of just worked on some stuff. It's honestly kind of nice on the weekend to just watch some pickleball and do an activity at home. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I think it's not as fun unless I'm watching with somebody who's also into it. I think my most fun time watching, unless it's live, right? If I'm watching on the screen, I think my most fun time was last MLP. It was you, me, and Shay, and my buddy Justin, and we were just in the living room watching the matches, eating breakfast, and like going crazy.
No, I do think it's much more enjoyable to watch when you have people, for sure. I mean, there were points where we were all losing our mind. We're like just freaking out, and then it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like watching football or something. What's your take on this before we move on? Everyone's always saying, oh, pickleball is not a spectator sport. But even with results that have been fairly similar recently, I actually think the last few tournaments, we've had some fun stuff. Obviously, with memes of pickleball, it's even more fun. I feel like they're doing the PPA a favor by making the storylines more funny to keep up with. But I actually think if you watch it with people, it's pretty fun. Maybe not as fun as playing, but I have liked watching it with people.
I think that it is more fun once it can become more engaging, right? Like if it's just standalone pickleball and I'm not talking to you or texting you constantly or checking out the memes, on my phone or something, it's not as engaging and it's not nearly as fun to consume. Although it has gotten better with the different angles or whatnot that the PPA has employed. I would like to see some more replays, right?
Yeah. Sometimes they miss a replay, which is kind of annoying. And it's tough. Pickleball's kind of quick. But I hope they do something to fix that, because a lot of times I want to see a replay.
Right, exactly. So I think once they becomes more engaging, I think it'll be more fun. So that's why now when something's happening, I'm always either on the phone with you, or I have the Memes of Pickleball page open so I can see and like keep a pulse on everything. And sometimes, I'll plug into the different chats or whatnot to see what people are talking about and see what people's reactions to certain shots or whatnot. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of, it's just kind of fun to be involved in it, right? And I think that's what makes pickleball great. But if it's just spectating, I don't know. It's not nearly as enjoyable, at least for me, Yeah,
I would definitely rather play over watching. But, dude, if I had me, you, Shay, Kyle, and whoever else in a room watching, and I would also say it gets more entertaining once you get to about the quarterfinals. The early matches maybe not as exciting, but quarterfinals and on, yeah, it's good stuff when you're with people for sure.
Yeah, we should definitely do another stream sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be fun for sure.
Just to watch it with you guys out there who are watching the pod right now. I think that'd be fun.
Yes. All right, well, we are going to move on to the new announced paddle testing that the PPA announced. You want to read the full statement for us?
Yes, I will read the full statement. Just out of curiosity, when did they publish this statement?
I think it was about a week ago-ish, maybe just under a week.
Okay. All right, well, here we go. Paddle testing is about to get real. From the PPA, the Carvana Professional Pickleball Association, the PPA Tour, Major League Pickleball, MLP by Margaritaville, and USA Pickleball Today announced a new collaboration and partnership to implement best-in-class, quote-unquote, equipment compliance testing standards, with the first full joint testing taking place at MLP's Daytona Beach event, which is March 23rd through the 26th. The three organizations are committed to creating an environment that showcases the speed, power, and skill of the sport while prioritizing player safety and a level playing field. To achieve these goals, the PPA, MLP, and USA Pickleball will work together with players and manufacturers to set standards and establish rules for game equipment used for in MLP and PPA events. Automated equipment specifically designed for the sport of pickleball will be used to conduct laboratory and on-site testing of paddles and balls. Ensuring that the testing is fair and equitable, data analysis via proprietary software package will be used to interpret and make informed decisions regarding the equipment of the sport. To ensure all athletes compete within the same guidelines, players will be treated with respect and dignity, and the organizations will support the world-class athletes of the sport with rules and regulations that keep up with evolution of the game. The focus at MLP Daytona Beach will be on data collection and analysis of current standards for compliance testing in order to begin setting the protocols and policies for in-field testing. The collaboration and partnership by USA Pickleball, MLP, and the PPA Tour represents a major step forward for the organizations and players. By implementing best-in-class equipment compliance testing standards, the organizations are demonstrating their commitment to the safety and fairness of the sport while also keeping up with the evolution of the game. More details about the process will be communicated to players and pickleball community as soon as possible.
Holy moly, that was so much longer than I thought it was going to be. That was a mouthful.
Holy crap.
But all right, I will give my take, and then I want to hear your opinion on this. Okay. First is that it's great they're taking it more seriously. This whole time, I think everyone's complaint has been it doesn't seem like they're taking it very seriously, or if they are, they're not making it very public to everyone else. So this is a great thing to see. Now, what they come out with, we'll see. Obviously, we know the current way of doing things has not been great across the board. It's pretty easy to get around most of the current way the testing is done. So I hope they come out with something, but I think that after this is done, I think regulations on paddles for next year are probably just going to change a bit. Like they said, this first upcoming tournament, it doesn't sound like they're going to hand out punishments. They're just going to collect data on everyone's paddle so they can figure out what the guidelines should be moving forward. And I think they're going to realize kind of quickly, maybe what we're doing right now needs to be updated a little bit. So I kind of think that is what's going to happen, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's going to be somewhat of like a beta test of their processes and, like you said, collecting data. And then they'll probably improve upon the process as they move forward, right? And to make sure that it's streamlined, because with more people coming in and playing, right? Like, when does testing happen? Does it happen just before the event happens? Does it happen during the event? Is there going to be random select screening of paddles? How does challenges work? And how accurate and robust is it? There's so many questions that need to be answered. And I mean, it's great that they are announcing this, but we don't have any information on the process that is going to be taking place. I mean, what did they say? Via proprietary software package. I kind of chuckled. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Hopefully they come out with more information soon. But yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction. What would you like to see? You being the paddle nerd, the de facto paddle nerd.
The thing I want to see go away is the way paddle testing is done right now for the pros. Stop putting it on the pro to challenge the other guy's paddle, because basically the only time you're going to challenge someone's paddle is if you lose. And we'll use Rafa's example this weekend where he challenged Zane's paddle. Rafa got made fun of a ton for it, obviously, because, I think most people were like, okay, dude, the Adidas paddle was just terrible. Like, even if Zane's maybe was over, like, it probably didn't make the difference. It was just your paddle's really bad. But I don't think it's really fair that the player has to challenge, and it's within their right to challenge. The PPA gives it to you as an option, and then you just get made fun of every single time you challenge, because the only time you challenge is when you lose. So you look like a sore loser thinking, oh, I just lost because they were using a cheater paddle. So I don't think that's fair, because the same thing happened to Anna Lee. And I don't think either of them should have been made fun of for something that the game allows them to do.
Yeah, I figured people would, I guess, they would understand that, and they would know that this is just the rules and they're just playing within the parameters of the rules. So I don't know why they're being made fun of. This is just the way it is.
I mean, Rafa's is just funny because of the Adidas. I don't know how much of it was actually questioning Rafa so much as just the situation with the Adidas paddle. I think it's probably more what it was, but still, that needs to go away, period. All paddles should either be checked for anyone who's signing up for a pro bracket, or at a bare minimum, you get to the qualify or the quarters, and then every paddle moving forward from there needs to be checked and approved. You shouldn't have to be on the player. That's just stupid.
Okay, 2 questions. Do you know what happens? Let's say Rafa challenged Zane's paddle, and his paddle was illegal, over the grit limit or whatever. Do you know what happens? Like, do they replay the match, or does he get DQ'd automatically? Do you know?
I actually don't know. I remember this being talked about when they announced the paddle testing, and all I recall was punishments for being caught with one where, gosh, I'm not even going to try and remember all of it, but essentially in a rough order, it was like maybe a money fine, then you have to skip a tournament, and then like a suspension for a certain amount of days is, I think, kind of what the progression was. But I don't know if I remember them saying anything about you just lose that match. I would kind of think if you got caught with a paddle over, that you should lose that match, right? I mean, that
or lose
feels
that,
like that makes sense.
Lose that game. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is enough? What if you just lost a game, or if you lost the whole entire match? Like, would that be fair?
Yeah.
And what? It's just tough to say.
I'm not sure about that one, but if there is a known rule about that, I don't know what it is.
Right. Okay. My next question is, how do you enforce that? Like, if you're only going to do paddle testing at the quarters or whatnot, couldn't you easily just swap out your paddle or something like that? Like, how do you enforce or make sure that that's transparent?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it still wouldn't be perfect if you did it up to the quarters. You could definitely be using a different paddle beforehand. So I don't think that's perfect, but at the bare minimum, it weeds out like, okay, you've got like most of the people who are probably going to make it this far. Now let's just make sure it's a completely even playing field after. Obviously, you don't want to see cheating anywhere, but I think at a bare minimum, that's what it should be right now, because I don't think testing quarterfinalist paddles would be that difficult.
True. Yeah.
At least for grit.
At least for grit. I mean, the other testing, didn't you say it's like near impossible to do? Like, you can't really test deflection, right? Or
currently, the way they're doing it with the machine that they use, you wouldn't want to bring that on site. I mean, it wouldn't be impossible. It would just be a huge pain.
Okay.
So they're not gonna bring that. But Yeah, right now they just have the grit testing essentially, which also needs to, they need more testing.
Yeah, that testing stuff also needs to, like, for the most part, improve as well, I think.
Yeah. I know they're working on it. I have some inside sources on kind of what's been being worked on or whatever, and
to test the grit?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how things shake up.
Okay, so wait, can you tell us what it's like, or no, or
probably not?
Okay,
but to be fair, I myself don't really know exactly what the machine does or how it achieves what it does. I've had it explained to me and the cost of it and whatnot, but I don't actually know exactly how it's gonna work with a pickleball paddle yet.
Gotcha. Okay, are you optimistic about it?
I don't know.
Okay, that's all you. That's all you needed to hear and see from Chris. Nope, he's not. Look at his face.
It's mostly because I don't know that much about the machine. But if they use it and it works, I think there will be some other. I'm just gonna shut up. I don't like saying stuff when I can't actually talk about it. So it's just gonna cause all this speculation that doesn't need to happen.
All right. Let me ask you one other speculative question then.
Okay.
If they do use this new machine or process, will you be able to feasibly get your hands on it to perform your own testing with? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, dang it.
No, there's no shot.
Okay, so it's some sort of very expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Chris. Everybody in the comments, go ahead and start speculating on what it might be or how they're going to do it or how much it might cost.
Yeah, all I think is I hope it works out. Obviously we all want to see things get more fair. We want to see things be more consistent just across the board.
Well,
you don't want
even if even if they do get this new piece of equipment or whatever, like they still need to be more transparent,
Yeah.
Like on their process and how they do it and whatever numbers or whatnot, that has to be made public somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'd like to see it, but we'll see. I don't know. There's obviously when you keep things to your chest, no one can call you out for doing it wrong. So
true.
We'll see. But anyways, last topic we've got for this podcast episode is Nationals is moving to Texas with the PPA. So I did not see that one coming. I kind of thought US Open and Nationals, not that they were going to get left in the dust, but so US Open, none of the PPA pros are allowed to play it. So it's going to be an interesting pro field over there. And then I thought the same thing would happen to Nationals, but USA Pickleball has partnered with the PPA to have it be, my understanding was presented by the PPA or at least a part of the PPA so that their pros can play it. And it's moving from the Indian Wells Tennis Center to the Brookhaven Country Club in Dallas, Texas, November 4th to the 12th.
Okay. There's my initial thoughts on that. I'm mixed because, Dallas is not that far from me. I can probably make that like with a drive. No problem. I played at Brookhaven.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. I played it. In my my 2v1 match against Jay DeVilliers was played at Brookhaven Country Club.
Oh, how many courts do they have?
Ooh, they have a decent amount. They have a few outdoor courts and a few, like, I can't remember. I want to say, I'm assuming that they're going to like resurface some courts and change up the layout or whatever. But from what I only been there once, right? And from what I remember, I felt like there was maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 10, 12 outdoor and like I feel like at least 4 indoor from what I remember. There's probably more. Don't quote me on this, but yeah, I've been there once. I only went to like one court. I played indoors, so I really couldn't see anything else. The indoor course they had there, they need to fix that place up.
Okay.
It was not a pleasant experience, and the only reason why is because they just need to cover the light that leaks in, because inside the lights are not. It's perfectly fine, but because it's so bright outside, when the light leaks in, like your eyes are trying to adjust for 2 levels of brightness.
2 sources of light, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really, really tough to see. So they need to fix that up for sure. if they're going to use some of their indoor courts. The outdoor
Well, they
courts, I
said
think,
they're
should
going to
be
have
fine.
up to 65 courts.
Okay, yeah. So there's probably more courts I didn't even know about because, like I said, I've only been there once. But yeah, okay. I can see it. So I'm kind of mixed. It's close, and I can go there. But I mean, I know Indian Wells is beautiful. You couldn't stop raving about that facility.
It's so good. Such a good facility. I cannot imagine a world where this next one is a better venue than Indian Wells. Like, that is a really good venue I think it is the best venue for pickleball.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know of anywhere that would be better. Now, I'm sure that there's obviously lots of places I haven't been to, but I just don't know what they really could have done that much better.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so bummed you didn't get to go there because
I know.
I don't know. Maybe one day it'll go back, but
yeah, maybe
you just have to go for tennis.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have always wanted to go to the Indian Wells tennis tournament, so maybe that will be the thing I do instead. Sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
So other interesting news about it, it's going to be the world's largest pickleball event, they said. It will have up to 3,500 players, amateurs and pro, and a prize pool larger than 150K. So that's big. 3,500 players is a lot of players, Will.
That is. I'm just curious how they're going to manage all these people, coming in. I hope they have enough, parking and like traffic, places to stay, stuff like that. I mean, because, Indian Wells was built to be a huge spectator, arena to host large tournaments, right? And I just don't know if Brookhaven Country Club was, built for that. I mean, I could be wrong. Like I said, I've only been there once, and they could have plans in place to make it happen, and I'm sure they'll build up infrastructure or whatnot if they need to. I mean, that is Tom Dundon's hometown, so who knows?
Yeah. Hopefully it ends up good. I think I saw in the press release that they were estimating that 25,000 people would come through the venue. Spectators, parents, family, friends. Yeah, like everything. So I'm like, dude, 25,000 people. You could probably do that at Indian Wells, but I don't know. I haven't been to this place. I have no opinion on the place, but it's just a lot of people. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So are you going to be going to it then?
I mean, if I qualify, which was the next thing I was going to talk about, is the PPA now has some golden qualifiers. If you were ever confused about this, because I sure was, the only golden qualifiers that existed were through APP tournaments. There were no PPA golden qualifiers. You couldn't get to nationals through the PPA. Now you can. They added 3 for the PPA, which are going to be the Selkirk Texas Open, May 31st through June 4th. Okay. Then the Baird Seattle Open, July 27th through the 30th. And then the Kansas City Open, August 24th through the 27th. So I will I will go to the Kansas City Open because my in-laws live there. So it's, close enough to drive, very easy. The other ones, I don't know if I'll go or not, but
okay.
We'll
go to Kansas. Sure. We'll go to Kansas. And
we're going to get ourselves a ticket.
Yes, you and I, this will be the first tournament that we've gone to and we've played together.
I need you to up your drilling so that we win this. I'm not losing this. We are going in and we are winning.
Okay, are we playing? What are we playing?
See, that would be the tricky part because right now 4-5 is what I'm going to be playing, and I would say I'm solidly 4-5.
Okay.
And then by August, that's a long time. I don't really believe I'll be a 5-0 by that time, but I don't know. You just never know what's going to happen. I'm trying to take drilling a lot more seriously. Like it's a part of my schedule. I'm trying to essentially make it part of my work schedule or requirement for this job where it's like 2 or 3 times a week I have to drill early in the morning. So who knows? Maybe I'm pro by August.
Briones will be proud.
He would be proud, and I know he wants you to do the same. Will,
yes.
He can be proud of you too.
I did drill when I went up to. Well, I didn't get a chance to drill when I was with Zane that much, but when I went up to Connecticut, the 2 days that I did get a chance to play, me and Donko, we drilled like for good 2 hours before we played. I was done. I was like, okay, guys, I don't even want to play pickleball anymore. I'm ready to go home. That's what I told them. I
think my favorite thing right now is those early morning drill sessions because I am usually drilling at 6 a.m., which means I have to be up at 5 a.m. to like eat and get ready and whatever. And then when I finish, I just already feel accomplished with my day. I'm like, I got something nice done. I got better at pickleball, and I was up early. So it does feel nice, I will say.
That's good. That's good. I will say, all right, we're going to go to Kansas City Open, and I really want to go to the Seattle Open. I'm going to try to go to all three of these. We'll see. Like, Texas is so close.
You remember when you said, I don't want to travel that much?
I don't, but I mean, also, I don't, but also I do because I love Seattle, and I told one of my best friends lives up there, and I told him I would go see him. And,
okay, well, if you're going to all three, then I'm going to all three.
Okay, it's probably not going to happen. Right now, I'm just being optimistic, but we'll definitely go to Kansas, and then I'm going to try very hard to go to the Seattle Open. We'll see.
The Texas one would be crazy for you because we would have that, and then not even a week later, we would have to potentially be in Colorado, which we'll not say what that is for now, but we might be there. So that would be a lot.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That would be a lot.
But it would be sick.
So,
think about it, Will.
To me. Yeah.
You would get so much time with me. And that's 3 chances for us to get a golden ticket. 3 chances.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
Wait.
Right now. Okay. Kansas will be a definite, and let's say you and I will tentatively do Seattle, because if we go to Seattle, like, I have places for us to chill and stay, and plus, like, Seattle is just like, there's other stuff to do, and it's just amazing. I just love Seattle.
Yeah, well, works for me. That would be a blast. Content creators can ball too.
Okay, all you guys out there, you heard it here first. I'm definitely playing with Chris in the Kansas City Open, so if I don't do that, then you guys can give me a bunch of crap because I've corrected him too many times.
If he drops me one more time, he's off the pod. I totally thought we were going to play together in that last tournament. No. He picked Donko. And what did it get you? It got you 0-2.
It did get me 0-2, sadly. Oh, man. Horrible losses. Like, heartbreaking losses that, we were close to winning.
Those losses wouldn't have happened with me. Just saying.
You need to up your rating. Wait. What's your duper right now? Did I send you my updated one?
You did 451, and you want to know why yours jumped so much? I just saw this the other day.
What happened?
Duper updated they adjusted their algorithm. I didn't see exactly how they tweaked it, but I saw that not everyone, but some people had like a 0.2 to a 0.3 jump. Mine was very small. It went from it was 446 to 451. So clearly mine was already pretty accurate. For those who are questioning my duper, I know yours got inflated a little bit.
Dude, mine, I don't know. It's up there, and I know I can play to these levels, but I don't know if I can consistently say this. So my doubles jumped from like a 4.45, and I mean, I felt like that was a little low, but it's now 4.92. And then my singles, I just broke, like, I was in Arizona. I think I was a 4.95, and now I jumped up to like a 5.26 for singles.
Which is, geez,
that's a huge
definitely
jump.
High.
That is a very huge jump. And I don't know, is it because I played the pro quali?
Maybe, but I mean, those would have already been accounted for and updated in your account. I'd have to go see exactly how they tweaked the algorithm, because I think they might have gave a glimpse into what they tweaked exactly. But yeah, I mean, either way, I would say yours probably aren't far off. Like, when we play singles, if I'm 4-5 and yours is 5-2, I feel like the score lines, since I haven't beaten you in a match, I mean, clearly you're better. And I feel like if you were like 4-9 to maybe 5-0, like, you're probably supposed to, I mean, maybe 5-0 would be correct, because you would be favored to win all the games. But like, maybe I get one, but probably not a match. I don't know. We'll see. After your next tournament, it'll probably be more accurate, and then we'll determine.
Okay, yes, we'll determine. If it goes any higher, I don't know if I can do the pros. I can't do pros versus Joes anymore, because I'm not a Joe anymore. Like, it's like I'm not. Nah,
you'll always be a Joe, Will. You'll always be a Joe.
Okay.
It'll be fine. But the last thing I want to say is, dude, what on earth is the APP gonna do? PPA is now basically working with MLP, and they're working with USAP. Where does that leave APP to do anything?
I don't know, but we'll see, right? Only time will tell. Like, look how fast things change in pickleball, right? We say it every single time, like every single month, something new and crazy happens. I don't think we have to worry about them. At least I'm not worried about them right now, and at least not anymore. So much crazy stuff is happening. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure they're not twiddling their thumbs, but I don't even turn the APP on anymore when it's on. I mean, have you turned it on?
No, I haven't.
It's like, I mean, they don't stream, at least the last few, they weren't streaming singles, I don't think. And then I can't remember if it was only a Saturday, Sunday stream. And then Sundays on ESPN or something else. I can't remember. I'm totally botching that. Sorry. But whatever it's on, I can't watch it without paying. And I definitely just don't care enough to not watch all the best players. I'm not paying to not watch the best. So, like, at this point, to be honest, I probably would suck it up and pay. If the PPA became a paid wall for Sunday, I would probably pay for it just because it's part of the job to kind of keep up with some of this stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even turn the APP on anymore.
All right, well, we'll see how things unfold. But yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do or what they got in the works. But I don't know. There's a part of me that's just not too worried about them. But I agree with what you're saying right there. Like, why would you turn it on? Like, what do they have to offer? So I get it.
Yeah. We'll see. But that is what we got for you guys this week. I think this was a pretty fun episode. Let us know down in a comment below. Remember, leave something funny or leave us a review, and we may read those. So we'll see. We'll see who the funny ones are in the comments.
Okay.
All right. Catch you guys later.
All right. See ya.